Okay, so let's dive into one of the most incredible stories from ancient Egypt. A story about a temple that literally died and was brought back to life. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a tale of gods and ancient myths, but also one of mind-blowing modern engineering and a global race against time to save a treasure from vanishing forever.
So picture this. It's the middle of the 20th century. The world is all about progress, right? But that progress often comes with a cost. And down in southern Egypt, on this tiny, beautiful island in the Nile, a priceless piece of history was about to pay that price. It was facing a threat not from some invading army, not from the simple passage of time, but from the very river that had given it life for thousands of years.
The big problem? Water. Or, more specifically, too much of it. See, Egypt was building these massive dams on the Nile River, the Aswan dams, to control floods and generate electricity. A modern marvel, for sure. But this marvel put the ancient sacred island temple of Philae in some serious mortal danger.
So you can see how this threat just got worse and worse over time. After that first dam went up back in 1902, the temple was already spending months underwater every single year. Can you imagine? It would emerge all coated in river salt. But then, in 1960, they started building the new Aswan High Dam. And this time, it wasn't just a seasonal bath. The temple was facing permanent oblivion. By 1972, it was a crisis, and the world had to act, launching one of the most ambitious rescue missions in history.
But why? I mean, why go to such absolutely incredible lengths for this one temple? What made it so irreplaceable? Well, to really get it, you have to look beyond the carved stone and into the mythology that was its very soul.
This temple was the heart of the cult of Isis. And Isis, well, she was one of the most powerful and beloved goddesses in all of Egypt. She was this incredible symbol of the devoted wife, the loving mother, a powerful magician, and most importantly, the ultimate giver of life. And Philae, this was her home, her sacred sanctuary. And this right here is the central story that's literally carved into the temple's walls, the myth of Osiris. His own brother, Set, gets jealous, murders him, and scatters his body all across Egypt. But his wife, Isis, just refuses to give up. She searches everywhere, finds every single piece, and uses her incredible magic to bring him back to life. It's this powerful story of loss, devotion, and rebirth that made Philae a sacred site of resurrection for thousands of years.
But Philae's importance goes way beyond mythology. It also has this critical, tangible place in real history. It wasn't just a place for myths. It was a place where a huge chapter of human civilization came to a very quiet but very definite end.
For centuries, Philae was just this vibrant hub. You can actually see it in the architecture. It's this gorgeous fusion of classic Egyptian design with later Greek and Roman styles. But here's the crucial part. This was one of the very last strongholds of the old gods. It was a place where pagan worship kept going long after much of the Roman Empire had already converted to Christianity. Now, take a look at this date, 394 AD. It might seem totally random, but this year marks a monumental turning point, a quiet end to a very, very long era. And it all happened right here, on this little island.
So what ended? An entire system of writing, a way of recording knowledge, faith, and history that had lasted for 3,000 years. In 394 AD, the long, long story of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs reached its final page, right at Philae. And this is it, the last known hieroglyphic inscription ever recorded. It was carved by a priest named Esmet Icom. It's basically a final prayer. And after this was written, the knowledge of how to read these sacred symbols was just lost. For over 1,400 years, nobody knew what they meant, until the Rosetta Stone was discovered.
So, you see, this temple wasn't just a collection of old stones. It was the heart of a powerful myth and the final echo of an entire civilization. Faced with its certain destruction from the rising Nile, the world decided to try something that honestly sounded like science fiction. So how in the world do you move a temple? Well, you start with an almost unimaginable number, 40,000. That's how many individual stone blocks the entire temple complex had to be carefully cut into. Every single piece, from massive walls to the most delicate carvings, had to be numbered.
I mean, the engineering here was just staggering. First, they had to build a dam around the temple island.
just to pump all the water out and create a dry place to work. Then came the incredibly delicate process of dismantling it, piece by piece. Each one of those 40,000 blocks was then moved to the nearby island of Agilkia, which they had actually landscaped to look like the original Philae. And finally, like the world's most complicated jigsaw puzzle, it was all put back together. After almost 10 years of this intense international effort, the job was done. The Temple of Isis, which was once doomed to drown, was standing again, safe, whole, and beautiful against the Egyptian sky. And this really captures the whole transformation. The original island of Philae, the temple's true, sacred home, it's gone now. It's completely submerged under what we now call Lake Nasser. But on the higher ground of Al-Jolkia Island, its spirit and its very substance live on. A rescued treasure, saved for all of us.
And that's just the beautiful symmetry of this whole story, isn't it? The temple that was dedicated to Isis, the goddess of resurrection, a place that celebrated rebirth in its myths, went through its own very real modern resurrection. It's a myth made real by concrete, steel, and just incredible human cooperation.
It really leaves you with a final thought. I mean, the rescue of Philae was this extraordinary moment where the world came together to protect our shared heritage. And it kind of makes you wonder, in our time, with all of our own challenges, what modern treasures, whether they're cultural, natural, or even digital, would